Breaking news from the federal courts. Has been a full, busy morning of breaking news after breaking news. A judge has temporarily blocked the president's push to end diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts in our public schools. It impacts K through 12 schools that are at risk of losing federal funding. This after he signed a flurry of executive orders, the president, that include calling on the Education Department to overhaul the accreditation process that currently ensures universities meet certain standards before receiving federal funds, and taking aim at the Obama-era policies that were meant to end suspension and expulsion practices disproportionately impacting students of color. Joining us now, John King, Jr., Secretary of Education under President Obama and now Chancellor of the State University of New York. John, it's always a pleasure to see you. I thank you for your time. You're the author of the new book, Teacher by Teacher. So, John, how do you see this temporary block by the courts of the Trump administration's efforts to end DEI in K through 12?
I'm pleased to hear that and not surprised. The administration's position on DEI has always been inconsistent with core American values. America is built on diversity. Our civil rights laws seek to advance equity and inclusion. So I'm pleased to see this, and I hope it's the start of a broader national conversation about returning to a focus on helping our students succeed rather than these culture wars distractions.
But is it a culture war distraction to focus in on not DEI as a principle, but how it has been instituted in the different ways by the federal government, in specifically the Department of Education, which the president wants to shut down?
Look, there's always a useful conversation to have about making sure that we implement any initiative well. The Obama-era efforts around discipline reform were really designed to ensure that Black students, Latino students were not being disproportionately suspended from school. It was an effort to make sure that rules weren't in place that might unfairly target students of color. For example, rules around hairstyles that might be designed in ways that were discriminatory towards students of color. I'm proud of that work that we did in the Obama administration, and I think the current administration's attack on those efforts is disingenuous.
The different programs, John, I'm just thinking that No Child Left Behind, and then what came when you were there. These different programs focused on things that are different than the, as you call it, the culture war discussions that we're seeing.
That's exactly right. Look, from 1980 to 2017, if you look at the progress that was made, you see that the gap in performance between Black and Latino students and white students was closing steadily during that period. That ended during that first Trump administration. You saw efforts at improvement stall out because there was a shift in focus to culture wars issues. And then, of course, we had COVID. And today, student performance is below where it was before COVID. We ought to be having an urgent conversation about how we help our students catch up in reading and math, help them get to school. We have so many students who are chronically absent. But instead, the administration is focused on these culture wars issues.
And John, when it comes to those executive orders, the issue of college accreditors, what is the significance of them being targeted, and what specifically do they do?
You know, the administration's approach really was to attack two things. One was, again, to continue this attack on diversity, equity, and inclusion, to somehow imply that colleges and universities were only trying to help students feel included because of the accreditors. Obviously, that's not right. Diversity, equity, and inclusion work is core to what we do in higher education. But the second, more dangerous piece of their accreditor executive order in some ways was the idea that they're going to make it easier for there to be new accreditors with potentially looser standards. And this is what you saw during the first Trump administration, where accreditors were encouraged to allow predatory for-profit colleges to take advantage of students. And I'm very worried about that. There's a history of these predatory colleges essentially stealing students' Pell Grant dollars, their GI Bill dollars, their federal financial aid, and delivering very low-quality education.
Hey, John, I want to ask you about something that I think is probably becoming more and more prevalent, which is students, and I'm talking about, not K, but you know, in their, what, I don't know how, when they start, but all the way through university and postgrads are using AI a lot more. I'm just wondering, how do you, as a, you know, university leader, deal with that? It's becoming prevalent in a lot of cases.
Yes, I mean, the good news is there's potential for research around AI to help us get to better treatments for disease, better strategies to deal with the consequences of climate change, to improve things like advanced manufacturing. And we have students and faculty who are working on those things all across the country. But then there's the question of AI's influence in the classroom. Many campuses, including ours, have faculty committees that are looking at how do you make sure that AI is used helpfully in the classroom and not taking students away from learning. And this is a place maybe for bipartisan work going forward. It's good that the administration wants to see investments in AI research and helping faculty use AI to help students learn successfully. That may be a place for collaboration.
Do you, do faculty, can you identify AI use? But anyway, that's a tough, long-winded answer, I'm sure, because it's just new technology. It's affecting all of us.
It is complicated. One thing that we're trying to do is make sure that faculty are helping students see where AI could be a useful tool. So one of the things you want to do with AI is you want to have a good prompt. You want to ask a question that really helps the AI target the information you're seeking. That could be a useful skill that students might develop, might help them in their future careers. What you don't want is students relying on AI to do their work for them. And so you want to be thoughtful about assignments that require students to present, and it requires students to maybe do some of their writing in class, students to share the progress that they're making on a paper over time so you can see that it's really their work.
Secretary John King Jr., it's always a pleasure to see you. I thank you for your time.